for Real Madrid Football Club because over the past 3 encounters of Omitimisha Barca in this particular season, it has ended in a total defeat for the side of Carlo Ancelotti, matching up for Real Madrid Football Club against FC Barcelona. But then in between the Copa del Rey, over the weekends, we split a lot of history when it comes to the Copa del Rey finals, clashing with FC Barcelona and then Real Madrid Football Club in the Super El Clasico. Because when we talk about the Copa del Rey finals, it has been only 7 finals before this particular finals. No team between them. And Real Madrid Football Club was superior over the side of Barcelona, making sure to meet me really close to about 4 wins in the finals and 3 wins for the side of FC Barcelona. And then Enra the number boy, was just a 4-4 wins the team Copa del Rey final between FC Barcelona and Real Madrid Football Club. It tells you, sir, currently as we speak in the Copa del Rey, it is actually equal on that particular part for both Madrid and then FC Barcelona. But then for history prevails. In the first season of Multimation was far back in 1936 when they met El Valencia, and at the side of Real Madrid Football Club, share Barcelona by 2-1. And almost also share in the 1968 in Santiago Bernabeu, and FC Barcelona, making sure that at the own backyard of Real Madrid Football Club, they can easily score that lonely goal in the 90th minute against Real Madrid Football Club or Santiago Bernabeu. It's here most of these supporters of Madrid heart apart. And the next one was far back in 1974 when they met in Zaragoza, it was Spain. And Omumiti, it was Zaragoza. It was a total disaster for the side of Real Madrid Football Club, scoring the side of FC Barcelona by 4-0. That particular encounter, Mushia FC Barcelona in that particular Copa del Rey final. And the last one, was far back in 1983 when they met the same sports stadium that's called the Valencia Sports Stadium, in 1983, and then FC Barcelona was able to win that particular game by 2-1. They also met in 1990 when they met again El Valencia Sports Stadium, and also Real Madrid Football Club came back to actually win that particular game against the side of FC Barcelona. 2011, Madrid won that particular Copa del Rey final, and then 2014, Madrid win it by 2-1. And then inside the number boy, the side of FC Barcelona has been able to win that particular game by 3-2. It tells you, sir, currently as you speak, the 8 finals will make 4 wins for the side of Real Madrid Football Club and 4 wins for the side of FC Barcelona. It tells you, say, in the Copa del Rey final, these 2 big football clubs, the same equal wins when it comes to the final. But then in the total titles, the side of Barcelona dominated close to about 31 titles when it comes into the side of the Copa del Rey. The Barcelona Football Club dominating the Copa del Rey titles, whilst Real Madrid Football Club was also lucky behind the side of FC Barcelona. But so checking this particular level, Barca Omuji the Copa del Rey into the semi-final of the UEFA Champions League, even preceding so the La Liga. So making sure in the Women's Champions League finals. And now by 5-1. And it is telling you, say, currently as you speak, Barca is not only about the men's football, but the women's football of FC Barcelona is also dominating in the women's league, and I say in the women's championship or county in most of these particular competitions. I find myself in. It was a Barca, arguably currently as we speak, they are the best football club currently as we speak in the world. But in the last 3 matches, the side of Real Madrid Football Club in this particular season, in October 25th, they met in the El Clasico, it was Santiago Bernabeu, and then FC Barcelona was able to score Real Madrid Football Club by 4-0. When you talk about January 11, 2025, this particular year, they met Madrid, it was Santiago Bernabeu again, and they scored Madrid by 5-2. And this time around, they also met the side of Real Madrid Football Club, and they've been able to score Madrid by 3-2.
Neutral ground.
So neutral ground.
Saudi Arabia.
That was Saudi Arabia. That was Super Copa España.
Yes, Super Copa.
And then they were able to win the Real Madrid Football Club by 5-2. It tells you, say, the last 3 matches this particular season, they've been able to dominate against Real Madrid Football Club, and they are making sure that they will do that particular job easily for the side of Barcelona. But then the first starting line, the team told you at the side of Hansi Flick, any end of that or tactical board, or about the 4-3-3 basic system for the side of FC Barcelona, making sure about Inigo Martinez and Pau Kubasi as 2 centre backs. Or Jules Koundé will become a right full back in that particular position from Barcelona, and then Gerardo Martin will become the left full back position for the side of FC Barcelona defensive structure. In the midfield, you get Frankie de Jong, Pedri, and then Danny Olmo, Omomian Senegina, Infinfio, at the side of FC Barcelona, and then Lamine Yamal, Ferran Torres, and Rafinha will be your frontal attacking third for the side of FC Barcelona. When you are married, almost first starting 11 in a team told you at the moment, and then you can easily see, say, Raul Asensio was that particular right centre back for the side of Real Madrid Football Club. Rudiger was the left centre back, and Felo Mendy was the left full back, and then Lucas Vazquez became that particular only pivotal person on the ball as a right full back position for the side of Real Madrid Football Club. Orange Tchouameni was the deep line act playmaker, making sure to be partner with Dani Ceballos and Federico Valverde in that particular essence. But about the 4-3 system, but this time around, not the 4-3 system, but an arrowheader over Kylian Mbappe in your attacking to the bit Mabua, Ama Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo de Goes, it's my partner Bonier at the Ama. But then he played that last season, that Champions League final against Borussia Dortmund, and Don Carlo Ancelotti aboard that same tactical system. So it will be the 4-3-3 tactical system, but this time around, not a 4-3-3 white system, but it will be a 4-3-3 dynamo system into the attacking third of the ball, Edam at the side of Real Madrid Football Club, meaning say Vinicius Junior on the left, Rodrigo de Goes on that particular right, and Jude Bellingham as a number 10, and somehow he can become an auxiliary striker who just gets into the zone 14 of the opponent of Barcelona. At the time, at the side of Vinicius Junior, everything making himself clear as an incisive passer into the zone 14 of FC Barcelona. The first person making sure so tap in, and there are a lot of good Madrid will be Jude Bellingham, but everyone on the German intimacy pay and farm at the side of Real Madrid Football Club. But DIABY, tactical media to see me, but Sean maybe the sort of Barca a cool year the moment. And then maybe a Don Carlo Ancelotti year, Uncle Ye, and Farmano, and especially in the second half, how Hansi Flick was able to overturn that particular tactical acumen, David Ancelotti, and the side of, the side of Carlo Ancelotti, Etimie, Edemo, Uncle Ye, and Farmano. Make sure you right here on your tactical board. But then, Carlo Ancelotti making sure say Obo against FC Barcelona, Barca bought the high press system of football. The high press system of football, and then sometimes he plays so well in the sense that so Obo high press system of footballer in the high build up, Obo the 3-2-3 system, not making sure so attacking most of these opponents into their house spaces, no setting offside trap at that particular opponent. Into Enra, we had Carlo Ancelotti together with David Ancelotti, or tactical some of the core now. It was somewhat the 4-3-3 system, but then on your tactical field, you wouldn't see the 4-3-3 system, but then it was the 4-1-4-1 tactical flexibility. It wasn't wide when it comes to the 4-back, no bit mania at the moment, but sometimes, say Lucas Vazquez, a lot of things that are anymore. He become a compact auxiliary midfielder just to support Obi to say Orange Tchouameni in that particular centric midfield of Real Madrid Football Club. But sometimes too, so you will see a lot of Barcelona players are depicted in the spaces over here in your center half and also into the defensive structure of Real Madrid Football Club, or defensive structure into the attacking third. But over here, this is the exact place between the 4-1-4-1 tactical flexibility. Vinicius Junior wouldn't be a left wide winger over here, but sometimes he'll get into the centric midfield just to become an arrowhead striker for the side of Real Madrid Football Club. And you get Federico Valverde, who will actually make sure so me ABOU Orange Tchouameni in that particular tactical midfield. But the right fullback position was the weakest placer. Now Barca a lot of hyper flank football at the far that particular left flank, so at the other side of Hansi Flick or another Rafinha and that. So you get imagine say when you to say Lucas Vazquez or no Ben and support the side of Federico Valverde, Orange Tchouameni, and even Rodrigo de Goes it is telling you say on a lot of space and the Hanum. Rafinha is running in between that particular space together with Ferran Torres in that particular space. So you're caught in the next picture. This is the hyper flank system now make a all of these particular players, the side of the right flank of Real Madrid Football Club, leaving so spacious because of say Lucas Vazquez also looking up. Not me tapping in, not me ye obey say Rafinha in the frame, or no ye obey say Ferran Torres in the frame. It is not what expected that Carlo Ancelotti actually the side of Lucas Vazquez Onya. He is not a typical right full back defender, but then he is a right winger or both in the wing. So when they come to defensive duties, Onya there or means me pardon very well, but then there is a particular Hansi Flick who making sure say Madrid air code anymore or a lot of space or more right flanks so obey depict a lot of space over here for Rafinha for him to dwell in the hyper flank football. No making sure say in between the side of Rafinha and Ferran Torres, there will be a little bit of combinative passes. With my the side of FC Barcelona in attacking third. But some point in the second picture, there is it. Sebastian a lot of transition because of say a lot of space at the hand meeting. It will be a total combination between Ferran Torres and there will be the same Rafinha with my combined. So on your tactical border, it will be a 2 versus 1 situation over here. Making sure say duel a lot of overloads in your right flank, sir, the side of your tactical ball. So, Madrid in the midfield, a lot of players in the midfield, but then and even the defensive structure and the poor organization structure of their defensive structure is very poor. Anthony Rudiger, for long money, it tells you say no organization pattern was very poor. And Lucas Vazquez, it's in the position as a right full back, anymore in that particular central midfield. It is telling you say when they get the ball and when they create a lot of overloads in the right flank, it will be a poor decision that will be made by Lucas Vazquez with attacking Rafinha or a lot of incisive pass for Ferran Torres to tap in and score a lot of goals for the side of FC Barcelona. Even in Asif, Rafinha a lot of things into the central midfield. Look at the number of space. Although Madrid 3 players or more cover up in that particular central midfield, but then the essence or some tap making sure the man-to-man press and the distance marking system with my it is even poor Madrid or Manchester in FIFA. So it tells you Carlo Ancelotti playing the 4-1-4 tactical flexibility. It is not that particular identity of football Madrid for ABOU. It's a typical identity of football or be about total dominance football. And about the 4-1-4-1 tactical flexibility. Madrid about the 4-4-2-1 as the 4-3-3 tactical system, and they can easily parade a lot of players in the midfield. No more making M2M press system in the midfield. No more making sure even when they are making the M2M press system, they can easily score a lot of goals into the attacking third. This was a poor decision by Carlo Ancelotti to play the 4-1-4-1 tactical flexibility. Madrid anymore. A lot of space the zone 14 just behind their penalty box anymore in their defensive structure. But this is Pedri. The case will be controlling gamer. You have a midfield or a Becas will be a controlling game, will be to meet the direction passes of the ball. But Pedri one particular player, Hans Flick a lot of transitional passes that are going to the attacking theater. It is not a certain Frankie de Jong. Saturday in the Frankie de Jong is a certain progressor of the ball. When you want to carry the ball from Onwankasa half space to the opponent of Real Madrid Football Club, that is where you get Frankie de Jong, who will progress the ball because our flair and our that kind of runs now, or that kind of footwork, so with my runner passing, each and every midfield in this particular era of Real Madrid Football Club. Madrid in Finfi Hanum, all that flair with me, a proper progression of football is a certain Luka Modric. Or also to bench at the other side of Real Madrid Football Club. So Pedro Nidiane said, when he gets the ball, the moment Frankie de Jong brings that particular ball as a deep line axe playmaker in the midfield of FC Barcelona, the first person with my locating will be Pedri. And this is Pedri trying to channel and trying to direct the operational passes into the attacking. Now he felt Madrid Frank Garcia the side of Federico Valverde the side of Jude Bellingham and he needs to make sure so direct a lot of pass into the left flanks of Real Madrid Football Club and Hono Oye Jumanina. Now in that particular next picture, you can easily imagine after Salami Yama edged this particular ball, he needed to come in and make sure so finding the space the side of FC Barcelona for them to score that particular goal. And look at the number of players from the zone 14 of your own yard box of Real Madrid Football Club. Now, had the kind of movement at the side of Lamine Yamal making sure so this same space for Pedri to tap in and score that particular goal. Look here. It was 20.1 meters ball and a Pedri. It's me ball or to become born the by the side of Barcelona Football Club. And it was that particular goal by the side of FC Barcelona. But over here in the second half, Madrid tried said they will play the Uno Dos Tres tactical system for them to make sure in terms of combinative passes in the midfield, they will try to play the Uno Dos Tres tactical system for themselves. But then it wasn't successful until Otimi Elanche, the side of Kylian Mbappe into the midfield and into the attacking third of Real Madrid because they needed someone who will pose a lot of threat, who will torture the defensive setup of Barca or Moncasa defensive setup, and Kylian Mbappe came in, rescued them in that particular first free kick out to ball at the same side of Real Madrid Football Club. Look at the second corner, Mickey close to about the second goal for Real Madrid Football Club. Now, a lot of players in the penalty yard box for the side of FC Barcelona, and Nipo was also making sure to making a lot of physical contact and eye contact for the side of Orange Tchouameni and a certain Jules Koundé. He failed to that particular moment to make that physical contact and the visionary contact together with Orange Tchouameni, and then he scored that particular beautiful header for the side of Real Madrid Football Club. But this is Lamine Yamal making sure that he will place a long lofted pass for Ferran Torres to make sure to match that particular number of goals. No, it was a total blunder and total mistake by the defender of Real Madrid Football Club. That's really they made sure that particular second goal nearby, it wasn't a communication between Thibaut Courtois and then Antonio Rudiger. It wasn't Komokasa Ewahanum because it is either say you Antonio Rudiger or taking the person down, and that's why allow Thibaut Courtois for him to take that particular person on just to save Real Madrid Football Club in that particular encounter. But Antonio Rudiger was very poor. He wasn't able to communicate between any other side of Thibaut Courtois Ewahanum, Ferran Torres, that particular second goal. This is the moment you will get in the moment. Say, Luka Modric is trying to get the ball to Brahim Diaz. The meters between Brahim Diaz and Jules Koundé, 13.6 meters. Brahim Diaz, instead of him to get close to the ball and get the pass or running away from the pass, Brahim Diaz, the who said why mistake was also back Jules Koundé from 13.6 meters. Jules Koundé needed to come back and rescue the ball in the zone 14, just opponent box, and he needed to score that wonderful goal, 21.9 meters, into the acute angle of Thibaut Courtois, and that laid the second, and that's the third goal for the side of FC Barcelona, and they claimed as the winner of the Copa del Rey, and it made sure Hansi Flick would dominate. Currently, as you speak, they are the best club in the world currently.
Mate, the maestro.
DIABY.
Na ni wa bomo de do ramo. Eki osaje for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.